Hinduism is an Indian religion and dharma, or way of life, widely practiced in the Indian subcontinent and parts of Southeast Asia. Hinduism has been called the oldest religion in the world, and some practitioners and scholars refer to it as Sanatana Dharma, the eternal tradition, or the eternal way, beyond human history. Scholars regard Hinduism as a fusion or synthesis of various Indian cultures and traditions, with diverse roots and no founder. This Hindu synthesis started to develop between 500 BCE and 300 CE, after the end of the Vedic period, 1500 BCE to 500 BCE, and flourished in the medieval period, with the decline of Buddhism in India. Although Hinduism contains a broad range of philosophies, it is linked by shared concepts, recognizable rituals, cosmology, shared textual resources, and pilgrimage to sacred sites. Hindu texts are classified into Shruti, heard, and Smti, remembered. These texts discuss theology, philosophy, mythology, Vedic yajna, yoga, agamic rituals, and temple building, among other topics. Major scriptures include the Vedas and Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Agamas. Sources of authority and eternal truths in its texts play an important role, but there is also a strong Hindu tradition of questioning authority in order to deepen the understanding of these truths and to further develop the tradition. The word Hindu is derived from Sanskrit root Sindhu. The Proto-Iranian sound change occurred between 850–600 BCE, according to Ascoparpola. It is believed that Hindu was used as the name for the Indus River in the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent, modern-day Pakistan and northern India. According to Gavin Flood, the actual term Hindu first occurs as a Persian geographical term for the people who lived beyond the river Indus, Sanskrit, Sindhu, more specifically in the 6th century BCE inscription of Darius I, 554–86 BCE. The term Hindu in these ancient records is a geographical term and did not refer to a religion. Hinduism includes a diversity of ideas on spirituality and traditions, but has no ecclesiastical order, no unquestionable religious authorities, no governing body, no prophet, nor any binding holy book. Hindus can choose to be polytheistic, pantheistic, monotheistic, monistic, agnostic, atheistic or humanist. Because of the wide range of traditions and ideas covered by the term Hinduism, arriving at a comprehensive definition is difficult. The religion defies our desire to define and categorize it. Hinduism has been variously defined as a religion, a religious tradition, a set of religious beliefs, and a way of life. From a Western lexical standpoint, Hinduism, like other faiths, is appropriately referred to as a religion. In India, the term dharma is preferred, which is broader than the Western term religion. Hinduism, as it is commonly known, can be subdivided into a number of major currents. Of the historical division into 6 darsanas, philosophies, 2 schools, Vedanta and Yoga, are currently the most prominent. Classified by primary deity or deities, 4 major Hinduism modern currents are Vaishnavism, Vishnu, Shaivism, Shiva, Shaktism, Devi, and Smartism, 5 deities treated as same. Hinduism also accepts numerous divine beings, with many Hindus considering the deities to be aspects or manifestations of a single impersonal absolute or ultimate reality or God, while some Hindus maintain that a specific deity represents the supreme and various deities are lower manifestations of this supreme. Other notable characteristics include a belief in existence of Atman, soul, self, reincarnation of one's Atman, and karma, as well as a belief in dharma, duties, rights, laws, conduct, virtues and right way of living. To its adherents, Hinduism is a traditional way of life. Many practitioners refer to the orthodox form of Hinduism as Sanatana Dharma, the eternal law or the eternal way. The Sanskrit word dharma has a much broader meaning than religion and is not its equivalent. All aspects of a Hindu life, namely acquiring wealth, artha, fulfillment of desires, kama, and attaining liberation, moksha, are part of dharma, which encapsulates the right way of living and eternal harmonious principles in their fulfillment. According to the editors of the Encyclopaedia Britannica, Sanatana Dharma historically referred to the eternal duties religiously ordained in Hinduism, duties such as honesty, refraining from injuring living beings, ahimsa, purity, goodwill, mercy, patience, forbearance, self-restraint, generosity, and asceticism. These duties applied regardless of a Hindu's class, caste, or sect, and they contrasted with svadharma, one's own duty, in accordance with one's class or caste, varna, and stage in life, puru, artha. In recent years, the term has been used by Hindu leaders, reformers, and nationalists to refer to Hinduism. Sanatana Dharma has become a synonym for the eternal truth and teachings of Hinduism, that transcend history and are unchanging, indivisible, and ultimately non-sectarian. Some have referred to Hinduism as the Vedika Dharma. The word Vedika in Sanskrit means derived from or conformable to the Veda or relating to the Veda. Traditional scholars employed the terms Vedika and Avedika, those who accept the Vedas as a source of authoritative knowledge and those who don't, to differentiate various Indian schools from Jainism, Buddhism, and Charvaka. According to Klaus Klostermaier, the term Vedika Dharma is the earliest self-designation of Hinduism. According to Arvind Sharma, the historical evidence suggests that the Hindus were referring to their religion by the term Vedika Dharma or a variant thereof by the 4th century CE. According to Brian K. Smith, it is debatable at the very least as to whether the term Vedika Dharma cannot, with the proper concessions to historical, cultural, and ideological specificity, be comparable to and translated as Hinduism or Hindu religion. The term Vedika Dharma means a code of practice that is based on the Vedas, but it is unclear what based on the Vedas really implies. The Vedika Dharma or Vedic way of life, states Lipner, does not mean Hinduism is necessarily religious or that Hindus have a universally accepted conventional or institutional meaning for that term. To many, it is as much a cultural term. Many Hindus do not have a copy of the Vedas nor have they ever seen or personally read parts of a Veda, like a Christian might relate to the Bible or a Muslim might to the Quran. Yet this does not mean that their Hindu's whole life's orientation cannot be traced to the Vedas or that it does not in some way derive from it. Many religious Hindus implicitly acknowledge the authority of the Vedas. This acknowledgement is often no more than a declaration that someone considers himself or herself a Hindu. Some Hindus challenge the authority of the Vedas, thereby implicitly acknowledging its importance to the history of Hinduism. The term Hinduism is coined in Western ethnography in the 18th century, and refers to the fusion or synthesis of various Indian cultures and traditions, which emerged after the Vedic period, between 500 to 200 BCE and c. 300 CE, the beginning of the epic and Puranic CQ. Pre-classical period. Hinduism's tolerance to variations in belief and its broad range of traditions make it difficult to define as a religion according to traditional Western conceptions. Some academics suggest that Hinduism can be seen as a category with fuzzy edges rather than as a well-defined and rigid entity. Some forms of religious expression are central to Hinduism and others, while not as central, still remain within the category. Based on this idea, Farol Lutzi has developed a prototype theory approach to the definition of Hinduism. Hinduism has been described as a tradition having a complex, organic, multileveled and sometimes internally inconsistent nature. Hinduism does not have a unified system of belief encoded in a declaration of faith or a creed, but is rather an umbrella term comprising the plurality of religious phenomena of India. According to the Supreme Court of India, unlike other religions in the world, the Hindu religion does not claim any one prophet, it does not worship any one god, it does not believe in any one philosophic concept, it does not follow any one act of religious rites or performances. In fact, it does not satisfy the traditional features of a religion or creed. It is a way of life and nothing more. Part of the problem with a single definition of the term Hinduism is the fact that Hinduism does not have a founder. It is a synthesis of various traditions, the Brahmanical orthopraxy, the renouncer traditions and popular or local traditions. Theism is also difficult to use as a unifying doctrine for Hinduism, because while some Hindu philosophies postulate a theistic ontology of creation, other Hindus are or have been atheists. The notion and reports on Hinduism as a single world religious tradition was popularized by 19th century proselytizing missionaries and European Indologists, roles sometimes served by the same person, who relied on texts preserved by Brahmins, priests, for their information of Indian religions, and animist observations which the missionary Orientalists presumed was Hinduism. These reports influenced perceptions about Hinduism. Some scholars state that the colonial polemical reports led to fabricated stereotypes where Hinduism was mere mystic paganism devoted to the service of devils, while other scholars state that the colonial constructions influenced the belief that the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, Manusmriti and such texts were the essence of Hindu religiosity, and in the modern association of Hindu doctrine with the schools of Vedanta, in particular Advaita Vedanta, as paradigmatic example of Hinduism's mystical nature. Pennington, while concurring that the study of Hinduism as a world religion began in the colonial era, disagrees that Hinduism is a colonial European era invention. He states that the shared theology, common ritual grammar and way of life of those who identify themselves as Hindus is traceable to ancient times. Prominent themes in Hindu beliefs include, but are not restricted to, dharma, ethics/duties, samsara, the continuing cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth, karma, action, intent, and consequences, moksha, liberation from samsara or liberation in this life, and the various yogas, paths or practices. Because of the vastness of Hinduism, we are making a part 2 of this video. Stay tuned.